Welcome to Shoshone Adventures Hunt Stories Podcast. Join us as we take you on hunting and fishing expeditions all over the globe with the outfitters who live and work in the wild. This episode is brought to you by Cordia Hunting and Outdoor Apparel. To save 20% site-wide, use promo code Shoshone20.
Welcome everybody back to another episode of Shoshone Hunt Stories, where we talk to hunters, clients, outfitters from around the world. We talk about their experiences, get to know them better, and it's really supposed to be an educational platform to learn more about all these different outfitters and learn about our hunts. And it's really entertaining. I'm glad everybody's joined with us. We are joined by the one, the only Richie Shultz, PH from Zimbabwe. You've seen him on television. You've seen his ads on Instagram. You've seen him on the floor at a bunch of the big hunting shows. He is a close friend of the company. Most of us have hunted with him. Some have hunts planned with him finally, and will be hunting with him here a little over a year from now. Richie, welcome. Thank you very much for taking a few minutes. You've only got a few days at home in between hunts. Thank you so much for joining us for a few minutes.
No, thank you. Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure to come on. And yeah, I'm in between hunts at the moment. Just finished up a hunt in the valley, and I got a few days at home, and then back off on leopard hunt down at Unetsi. So yeah, but thank you for having me on.
And I would like to just a little bit of a plug, that is with some Shoshone clients that you're hunting with down there for leopard in Unetsi.
Absolutely, so, yeah.
Yep, absolutely, man. It's so good to have you on, Richie. You're a good friend, and we've been trying to do this for a while, but I hate bugging you when you're at home. You only have a few days to spend with the family in between your hunting seasons, so I feel bad. But so thank you for taking a few minutes. I do want to give a couple of things going on, a couple updates just for our other listeners. We've got a brand new video we just released on YouTube. It is a Costa Rican adventure. If you've never been bill fishing in Costa Rica, this video will get you fired up to go. It is awesome. Newly edited footage. It is fantastic. It is a tale of two trips. It's fantastic. Jay and some of the crew just got back from a real successful trip in Africa. They were in South Africa, Namibia, and then went on one of those once-in-a-lifetime photo safaris up in Zimbabwe and had a great time. YouTube videos coming soon in the next few months on that. It was awesome. We've got a whole bunch of hunts coming up. We've got elk hunts in New Mexico coming up. I got really mad at some antelope archery hunting last year. You may have seen on YouTube archery hunting. I'm putting down the bow, taking my 300 mag to Colorado to cure my antelope itch in October, which is going to be great. We've got hunts coming up in Alberta for whitetail. More elk hunts in Nevada, Unit 231, a very special hunt where only the big bulls get killed, which is going to be great. And one of the cool things we've done, and Richie, you probably haven't seen this yet, but you're going to really like this. There's some Africa stuff coming up. We have just launched our brand new Shoshone seminar series. And what this is geared for is we get calls from clients all the time that want to hunt moose. They want to hunt caribou. They want to hunt bears. They want to go to Africa, but they don't know what the different species of animals are. They don't know that there's several species of moose that you can hunt. They don't know there's several species of caribou spread across the range. So we came up with the Shoshone seminar series, and we just released the first one yesterday, and it is on moose. I grew up in Alaska, killed a pile of them. It's something I love talking about, and it is a seminar series all about hunting moose, where they're located across their range, price points. We're going to start filming some more of those. It's really cool. Check it out. Check it out. But enough of what's going on in the world. That's what's happening with us. A lot of stuff. I want to get right back into Richie. I don't want to take up too much of his time. Richie, your background, you're born and raised in Zimbabwe, and you became a professional hunter. How did we go from little Richie running around in the bush to guiding elephant hunters? What's the progression there?
Okay. Yeah. So, born and raised in Zimbabwe. Yeah, I grew up in a farming community about 2 hours north drive of Harare, which is our capital. So it was a very, very big agricultural area, a lot of farming, a lot of livestock. But, going back, go back 40 years ago, kind of when I was born, there was a lot of bush still untouched between Karoi and the Zambezi Valley. So we had a lot of game in the areas that in the farming communities. So, growing up growing up there, we were every weekend we were hunting or fishing, doing something in the outdoors. And so yeah, I mean, as you and many others know in the States, when you grow up like that, it's in your blood. And yeah, so I every moment I had growing up, I was either had a fishing rod or a rifle in my hands doing something. And so obviously, as you kind of work your way through school, you get to the time where you're about to leave. And obviously my parents started bugging me, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And I just had a passion for hunting, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. Actually, it's quite funny. There's a story that my folks used to tell me was and I cannot remember how old I was at the time, but the teacher asks you, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I wrote, drew this picture and wrote there, I want to be a professional hunter. And yeah, that's what I did. I left school when I was 18. Started my apprenticeship, and year and a half to 2 years later, I had my full license, and by 20, I was guiding and hunting clients. But yeah, it was in my blood, born and raised.
Man, that is awesome. And you kind of segued right into my next question. And I'm not trying to knock any other countries or professional hunters from any other countries when I ask this. It's my understanding that becoming a professional hunter in Zimbabwe compared to other countries is very difficult. Is that correct? What are kind of the steps that go into that? What are some of the differences between becoming a professional hunter in Zimbabwe, say, versus South Africa? And again, I'm not disparaging any other countries by saying that. What are the differences and what are the steps?
No, I hear you. I think I'm certainly proud of it. I know all of us Zimbabweans are proud of it. I think we really do hold our license up high. It's a very difficult license to do. There's a lot of steps to get through, a lot of hoops to jump through before you can go towards your final exam. So yeah, it is very difficult, and I think it is definitely the hardest one to get out of all the other countries. And like you say, certainly not knocking the other countries, but yeah, I think Zimbabwe definitely holds a very, very high standard. You start your apprenticeship, you have to write a learner's exam, you have to do at least 2 years, you have to shoot your own dangerous game, and normally that's elephant or buffalo. We have a lot of PAC work, which is problem animal control, around the hunting areas where there's villages, and so you get the opportunity to shoot some big game. You have to pass medical aid tests. You have to pass medical aid exams, should I say, rather, not tests. You have to pass shooting tests, and then you go for like a final practical exam, which is basically you are sort of the acting professional hunter, and the examiners are kind of the acting clients. And yeah, it's a rigorous test. They throw everything at you. So when you walk away with a passed license, with your license that you've passed, or even, to be honest with you, there are restrictions, you can definitely hold your head up high because you've done well to get through all of that. So and still to this day, the guys hold a very, very high standard on keeping it up.
Yeah, no, I've always heard it was just so difficult to get, and that Zimbabweans were very proud of that.
Ready to chase your next big adventure? Shoshone Adventure Consulting is your trusted partner in global hunting and fishing travel. With over 40 years of experience, they connect you to world-class outfitters and unforgettable expeditions without the stress, hidden fees, or guesswork. From Alaskan moose to African safaris, they'll get you there right. Book your next adventure at ShoshoneAdventures.com, where legends begin.
Shortly after you got your license, or you can walk us through this, and I'll just tell everybody, the first time I ever saw Richie, and you can go back and research this, was on the Tracks Across Africa television show, which was the hottest, well, for me, the hottest show, like on the Outdoor Channel or whatever it was at the time, because it was full on Africa, in your face, dangerous game, plains game stuff. And I remember seeing a young Richie Shultz on this show.
Yeah,
what
had a
was
whole
it,
lot more hair then.
And we all, yeah, that's all of us. What was it like filming for the show, the pressures of it? Were you in your apprenticeship? I mean, were you a full PH then? what was that like with the cameras and everything? And I know you got cameras on you now too, but not like
Yeah.
that. I mean, that was a full-on
No, no.
production, right? Yeah.
So yeah, I'd had my license a few years before I started across with them, and one thing I will say, and I've said this quite a few times, chatting about this with clients and other PHs and everything. When the cameras came on the scene, it was, as a PH, I think for us it was more like, oh my gosh, it's just a schlep to have them along and everything, but it was very quick that we saw how awesome it was to walk away with a video of your hunt as a client. And trust me, you'll watch that video over a million times. Anyway, going off topic there. Yeah, so it did take a bit of adjusting to get used to the camera, but the cameramen that we used to work with and still do are very, very, very good guys. And if you have the right cameraman, you don't even know he's there. They just get on with their work behind you, and you just carry on hunting. There's no, oh, hold on, stop, just wait. Let me switch my camera on. There was never any of that. So it actually, I got to be honest, the cameraman made it very comfortable filming. But yeah, it was good fun. I did enjoy that, and I did enjoy the TV shows. They put on a great TV show. I did that for probably 5, 6, shucks, maybe even 7 years. So yeah, it definitely was very cool, being a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's gone through its transformation since then, but I think for those videos really add to the, I think it was a good message that they put out. It seemed like they really were, concentrated on the conservation of hunting in Zimbabwe and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it was awesome. And yeah, I've always wanted to ask you that, just the pressures of it with filming, and I'm sure you met a lot of cool people along the way, but
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, but it probably didn't hurt you in the next phase, starting Richie Shultz Safaris, right? So at some point we go from Shafudi and tracks across Africa to I'm going to go out on my own, and here you are.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was just something I always wanted to do. I had in my mind that was my end goal, to be on my own. And yeah, a few things just sort of fell in place, and I thought, well, I suppose that's a door being opened, and I just kind of went on my own, and I haven't looked back since. I've really enjoyed it. But no, that definitely was a very, very good stepping stone to get to where I am.
Which is Richie Shultz Safaris. Where are you hunting now? How long as your own company it's grown? I mean, tell us about that. Where you're hunting, how many PHs you've got working for you. Goodness, I mean, it's just ballooned, right?
So my main hunting base is down in Unetsi in the southern part of Zimbabwe. That's a private area. It's about 400,000 acres. What the guys have done at Unetsi in the last nearly 20 years that I know is just the transformation has just been amazing. It came from quite a desolate sort of old, overhunted, overpoached, no water, no protection cattle ranch really, to just a hunting oasis now. I mean, it's I'm boasting here a little bit, but I really do believe we have got some of the best leopard genetics and populations, definitely in the country, maybe even within Africa. We've got very, very good buffalo populations, great plains game hunting. So that's the core of my hunting down there, and I've been lucky enough to see that transformation, and lucky enough to still be there and still hunting it today. So very blessed for that. But I've grown and got a few other guys underneath me that are also doing hunts with me and for me. Because I'm also sort of branching out a little bit. I've hunted with a lot of guys now, and the client base has gotten bigger over the years. And then you get somebody who says, hey, I really want to go and hunt a different area or a different country or something. So I have branched out a little bit into other countries and within other areas in Zimbabwe as well. So I also kind of just go where the clients take me, really. If some guy says, hey, I'm really interested in a nice big elephant, I know the places to go now, and I've been in the industry long enough. So I kind of know which direction to go. So yeah, I would say probably 60%, 60 to 70% of my hunting is still in Unetsi, and about 30 to 40% is elsewhere, some outside the country and some in other areas in Zimbabwe, because we've also got a bit of quota up in the northern part of the country on the Zambezi River in the Chawari, and that's proper big game hunting there. The plains game hunting is definitely making a comeback. The guys have been putting a huge amount of effort into poaching and anti-poaching and water, and just trying to get things going again. So I've actually just wrapped up a hunt there now, and we shot a couple of nice crocs, a couple of nice hippo. Tom, one of the other guys who hunt with me, got a nice leopard. So yeah, Chawari is also another place that we'll hunt a couple of times every year.
Whether you're deep in the backcountry or posted up in a duck blind, the gear you wear can make or break the hunt. That's why we trust Cordia hunting apparel. Built for comfort, built for the elements, built to perform. From base layers to bomb-proof outerwear, Cordia keeps you ready for anything. And right now, Shoshone Hunt Adventures listeners get 20% off site-wide with promo code Shoshone20 at huntcordia.com.
When you have a place like Unetsi that's 400,000 acres, your presence being there, the Safari company, and I know that there's other operators that work in Unetsi as well, but how does that affect the local economy there, the conservation there? So you've got this 400,000 acre conservancy. There's people that live on that, right? Like there's villages. I mean, there's people that live. No, not in it, but
not on Unetsi, but all around us.
But all around it, right? Okay.
All around us, we have people, yeah.
Right. So how do the safari companies benefit those folks? Now we talk about the hunting industry and what it does for the local folks. Employment, you're given a meat and stuff like that. I mean, what are the positive benefits of you being there and the other safari companies have on the local environment, economy, or whatever?
So it's the hunting. Sorry, to back up. That is one thing that definitely people across the world don't actually really get to see, is what happens behind the scenes with hunting operations. And so, just like you say, the whole of Unetsi bordering us is all communal land. So there's villages amongst all around us. And so we started projects there, not myself directly, but Unetsi started projects on the outside, on the outskirts, helping. Our first vision was actually to help schools. And what the guys at Unetsi and all of us who hunt there at Unetsi have done in the last couple of years has just been incredible. Our biggest project, which we actually are sort of halfway, our biggest project is there was a school that came to us and asked us for help. And I've been to a lot of rural schools around the whole of Zimbabwe, and don't get me wrong, I mean, it's still very poor, and the level of education is not great at all. But most across the country have got a classroom block with chairs and desks inside, and it's okay. And myself and Spike, who's the wildlife manager and who basically runs Unetsi, we went out to visit the school, and man, I was blown away how these kids were at their school. It was sad. We drove away from there like really like lost for words. And so, yeah, Spike really just took the bull by the horns, and he said, "Hey, let's go with this." And I had a very, very, very generous client who got a whole bunch of donations together, and a couple of other of us operate PHs there. And we basically they built a new classroom block for these kids. So a block consists of 2 big classrooms, kitted them out with desks, books, everything. And we're halfway there now. So we've got to do one other classroom block with the same thing, and we're getting a lot of donations through all through hunting. But it doesn't just stop there. We're helping the clinics, we're helping drill boreholes, we're donating meat, we're donating footballs and school books, and so our vision right now across the board at UNETSI was directly just to help schooling, to try and better the level of education for the young kids coming through so that they can see the benefit of the hunting in the areas.
Yeah, well, obviously it's paying off. And you brought up another good point. Everybody asks, it seems like when we get a client that calls and asks, one of the things they want to know is, can I bring the meat home? Which is no. And if I can't, what happens to it? So what happens to the meat? Somebody kills, we've got a group coming next year. We're going to shoot 6 buffalo or whatever. That's a lot of meat, right?
Yeah.
So what,
Yeah.
if no one's using it for leopard bait or something, where does it go?
So we actually in UNETSI, all of the meat goes to our headquarters, and there's a big butchery there, abattoir, cold rooms, and it basically all gets processed. So we do take a very small amount of it for actually the camps, for the clients, have some, barbecue and jerky and whatever. But majority of that meat goes to feeding the people within UNETSI and outside of UNETSI too. So we obviously, you can imagine the staff, the anti-poaching guys, the people at the headquarters, the workshops and all that. It's a big team of guys. So they all get a monthly, weekly ration. But we also do deliver meat outside of the area as well. So, a lot of people are benefiting from that. And, when we recover an animal, i.e. a buffalo, like you say, out of the bush, we load it whole onto our cruiser and it gets taken to the headquarters. And so nothing down to the organs, the stomach, nothing goes to waste. And yeah, you're right. And not a lot of people, they think, oh, well, you just shoot it and leave it in the bush and drive away. No, it's definitely not like that. There's not an ounce of meat that goes to waste.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if you've got clients that want to watch that process, you can take them, you can drop off meat to folks. I mean, if a guy wants to see or film all that or whatever, and I mean, it's just all part of the experience, I would imagine, right? So
absolutely.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about is, and we don't have to get into the politics with this too much, for anybody that has not heard or does not understand, what effect did the Cecil the Lion mess have on hunting in general in Zimbabwe? Where did that occur? I mean, I've driven past the tree. I know you've been there 100 times, but can you tell folks, where did that actually occur? Kind of what happened with it, but how did that affect the hunting in Zimbabwe, and has it started to recover from that? Because all it took was one lion getting shot and that publicity for what it was, and it just had this ripple effect, right? I mean, what?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, as you can imagine, there's a lot of politics behind this all. But, my opinion and my take of it is that it was a legally hunted lion, legal quota. I believe that everything was above board. Where it was pushed on an emotional agenda as opposed to a science-based, hey, it's a lion, it's old enough to shoot. Nobody lured it across. Nobody did anything, unethical. In my opinion, I think it was all done above board. But yeah, it had a very, very huge negative effect to us, and still to this day, we still, as a hunting industry, we are always under fire from the opposition, and I think it set a lot of people back. I think for quite a few years, it set a lot of people back. And, still to this day, we do, the US fishing game permits now that you have to get for lions and elephants and everything. It's definitely not as easy. And it's sad because, like, for example, at UNETSI, we have quotas, very strict quotas, and that's across the board with the whole of Zimbabwe. And I think the whole of Africa, really. It's strict quotas that guys go by because, well, if we shoot all of them in 1 year, you're not going to have anything next year. So it did have a very, very negative effect. And unfortunately, like you say, are we still feeling those effects? Yeah, to be honest, we kind of are, because it's never going to end. It's only ever going to get worse. And it always seems like you're out there defending yourself. Just recently, there was another line that was shot, and there's a lot
right?
of big. Yeah, and sorry, you asked where it was. Yeah, it was up in the Wangi Matetsi area where Cecil was, that whole incident. And in my opinion, I really do think that it's more an emotional based thing than well, it's above board, it's legal. Parks have issued a quota, issued the permit, everything. So unfortunately, that will never ever go away. But I think as a hunting industry, we have to stand together and show all the positive benefits that actually come out of all these kinds of things. I mean, you can imagine a lion hunt these days is one of the more high end ones, and you can imagine how much money that actually comes back, and what that money is going towards. So in my opinion, I think as long as it's legally done, ethically done, which I think both of these incidents that's happened, I think that people should put their emotions aside when they see the benefits that come out of it.
Yeah, no, I agree. We are preaching to the choir there. Unfortunately, getting people to think with their brains instead of emotion is easier said than done. Along those same lines, thinking back to when you first started, how does hunting in Zimbabwe now compare to when you first started? Is it better? Is it worse? More game laws? More expensive? Less expensive? I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, how have things changed over the 20 years since you've been in the game?
Yeah. So it was actually funny. I was talking about this just the other day of how much a buffalo hunt used to cost when I started hunting as opposed to what it is now. So no, definitely, obviously the prices has gone up, but I think still Zimbabwe is still very, very competitive. I think as far as hunting in Tanzania, Zambia, Botswana, I think we're still one of the more competitive ones. So as far as are we expensive, I suppose that's a relative question, but no, I think that we are quite competitive. But and as far as how hunting has changed, I think as far as the ethical part of all of it, no, I wouldn't say that's changed at all. But there definitely, over the years and through my career, I've definitely seen certain areas sort of get better, certain areas go down a little bit, and back and forth. There's some areas that when I started were excellent, and then they kind of lost control a bit. The wheels fell off, and now new guys have taken it over again, and now those areas are coming back up again. So at the end of the day, I would say as a whole, the hunting in Zimbabwe has definitely improved in majority of the areas. But obviously, sadly, there are some areas that also have gone down, and the main reason behind that is obviously human encroachment, unfortunately, and obviously that you get a much higher poaching rate than you would in other areas. And obviously, it all comes down to who's looking after the area too. If you don't put the work and the effort in the area, unfortunately, the results don't really show.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say as a whole, there's a lot of areas that have definitely gotten better over the years.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I ask everybody this, especially the guests that we have from Africa. What is your most memorable close call in the bush? A buffalo charge, a leopard getting on you. What is your closest call that sticks out?
Shucks, I think
amongst I've probably many.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I do have many and been blessed to walk away from them safely. But I would say the one that I always kind of chuckled to myself about the most was, and the reason why is because it was kind of the most unexpected, was a bushbuck. Actually, we were hunting in Unetsi on the Monesi on the Unetsi River, and took a shot at a bushbuck, and the shot hit it a little bit low, and we were kind of some thick reeds and the bit of sort of thick thorny scrub, and it ran up this embankment, and I kind of saw it go up, and I thought I'd seen it crest and go over, and it had stopped right at the top, and so I kind of ducked and was making my way through the thorns, And at the time, I actually didn't have my rifle. I had my shooting sticks. And for some reason, something just told me, that little guy on your shoulder said, get your rifle. So I turned and I got my rifle. And as I turned around and looked up, a thorn caught my hat and sort of pulled it down over my eyes, well, not over my eyes, but down my forehead a bit. And I looked up and I saw this bushbuck. And at the same time I saw him, he turned and started coming down this little embankment towards us.
Oh, geez.
And I mean, he was coming like a bullet. And I just tucked the butt of my rifle under my armpit and shot. And I mean, it's just honestly just a pure luck. And I hit it just above the head and the spine, in the neck, and dropped it, skidded past me and sort of died, 3 feet behind me. And I mean, at the time, obviously I was shocked, but like I say, that's probably one of the most memorable ones that I won't forget in a long time. And because you don't expect that from a bushbuck. I mean, you expect it's from a lot of other animals, but not really a bushbuck. So
they got those, those horns are sharp on those things. Man. And I shot one in South Africa with a bow, and I thought I'd made a really good shot. And Nico Engelbrecht was my PH, and we were near the Zambezi area, and we went in there to blood trail it, and it wasn't dead yet, and it came after us. It full on charged, and he was in front of me, and he reached out with his hands and slapped it away, like right as it was getting to him, with both hands, hit it like almost in the side of the head, so it slapped it and redirected it. And I was just, of course, I just had a bow, and then it ran about 10 more yards and collapsed, and that was it. Like, that was it. Wow. It made its final stand, and all I saw was those horns coming this way at us, and he slapped them out of the way. And thank goodness he was one of these big rugby player guys, and he hit that thing. And
I was gonna say Nico must be about a 6'7" giant.
He was a corn-fed Afrikaner rugby player, and so he pushed. But they'll jump up and get you, man. Funniest story, something funny that's happened, something comical, something that you look back on. If anything comes to mind, just funny stuff, anything that's happened to a client or.
Oh man, over the years, I mean, so many things. I got to be honest, so many things. But I've got such an amazing team of guys. My trackers, Tondi, Sam, and Clever, and I mean, we know how to have a good time. They know how to get serious and hunt hard, but we surely do know how to have a good time. So to pick one thing, geez, I mean, just this year, one thing that I can actually remember, we were hunting slightly early season, and we went to cross the river, and Tondi, my one tracker, he thought he could clear across it, and he jumped and ended up sinking down to his waist in mud. But I mean, no, we've had some good times over the years. Me and the boys have been together hunting now for about nearly 20 years actually, and so. In all honesty, to name one thing, man, I could be here all night too.
Yeah, no, I bet. If you had to give a piece of advice to somebody coming, whether it's their first time or their 10th time, I'm hunting. I finally get to hunt with Richie next October, not this coming October, next October. And I've been to Africa several times. I've never hunted dangerous game in Zimbabwe. Been to Zimbabwe, been to South Africa a lot and around. Coming to Zimbabwe to hunt for the first time, what is one piece of advice that you would give me, that you would give somebody coming to hunt dangerous game or plains game or whatever in Zimbabwe as they're looking forward to the trip, that you could tell them?
I would say one of the most important things to do is to practice shooting, and not at the shooting range off of a bench, is off the shooting sticks. If you're not used to it, it can be difficult. Everybody can go to the shooting range and shoot off the bench and say, oh yeah, no, I was shot 3 shots in a dime, and but shooting off the shooting sticks can be challenging if you have not practiced. So I would say, even if it's with a little 22, go to the shooting range, get some shooting sticks, go and buy 20 rounds of ammo and go and shoot it off, and do that every couple of weekends leading up to your hunt. I promise you it'll make a big difference. You'll be surprised how many people come over, and yes, they have a beautiful rifle, beautiful scope, the gear's all there, and they can shoot very well at the shooting range. But as soon as you put them on shooting sticks, it does make a big difference. And don't get me wrong, I heard a story once of a client said to the PH, hey, listen, why don't you just shoot the bait? They want a leopard hunt. I'm tired of shooting bait. And so he got out and put they had the sticks up already. And he said, no, he said to the PH, no, you just shoot. And so PH said, okay. So he got the shooting sticks and he looked through the scope. He said, I want to get a little bit closer. And the client said to the PH, you see now, it's not as easy as it looks. So yeah. I do know that it definitely is not as easy as it looks. But the more you practice, the more comfortable you're going to be to take a 100-yard shot, a 120-yard shot. And, when you have that kudu of a lifetime standing in front of you, you want to be able to make that shot. So that would be my one piece of advice, that is to practice.
What are the average shot distances on buffalo?
I would say on buffalo, you're probably looking, if it depends. If you come early in the season, you're probably looking at anywhere between 30 and 60 yards. If you come a little bit later in the season, maybe you can get out to sort of 80 yards. Me personally, I don't really like to go further than that. I think if you put the time and the patience and you do the right stalk, you might get bust quite a few times, but you'll eventually get within 50, 60 yards. That's sort of what I like to get the guys onto.
Yeah, fantastic. Man, Rich, I don't want to take up much more of your time. It's been about an hour or so. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes. Like I said, I know you got 10 days in between your next hunt. You just moved into a new house you had built in Vic Falls, which is awesome. And I don't want to take up much more of your time away from your family, but please thank them for us for allowing you to steal a few minutes of their time to chat with us. And man, if you want to meet Richie, if you want to chat with him, he will be right next to us in his booth at Dallas Safari Club in Atlanta this year for sure.
Yes, sir.
And I know, Richie, you do some different private talks when you come over and do visit clients and stuff during that time of year. And reach out. I'm sure Richie could get together and chat with you. He is a pleasure to spend time with. And we've shared a lot of beers together at the shows. I cannot wait to sit next to a campfire with the crickets and the doves and everything in Zimbabwe at night. Reminiscing about the day's hunt with friends next year. But thank you so much, and good luck with the rest of your season. As always, be safe for sure.
Yeah. Thank you. No, absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me on, and look forward to seeing you guys in January and next year.
You got it. If you want to learn more about Richie, hey, he's got his own YouTube videos. He's got his own website, Richie Shultz Safaris. Check him out on Instagram. You can check out our Instagram. I steal videos from him all the time, but I give him credit every time I do because he gets some cool films out there. And, hey, if you want to come hunt with us and with Richie, we still have a couple spots left on that group hunt in October. I'd be happy to chat with you about. But, Richie, we'll see you real soon. I'll give you a call soon, and I appreciate the time, my friend.
Thanks, my friend. Take it easy, man.
Ready to chase your next big adventure? Shoshone Adventure Consulting is your trusted partner in global hunting and fishing travel. With over 40 years of experience, they connect you to world-class outfitters and unforgettable expeditions without the stress, hidden fees, or guesswork. From Alaskan moose to African safaris, they'll get you there right. Book your next adventure at ShoshoneAdventures.com, where legends begin.